The Nutritional Awakening, a journey from junk to joy. John Luncher. Let us please welcome him for his speech. Thank you.
Before I start, I just want to let the visitors know that throughout my speech, there will be some interruptions. This is not normal behaviour for a Toastmasters meeting. It is part of the project I'm doing. The project I'm doing is managing a difficult audience, and the idea is for me to deliver my speech, but be able to navigate any challenges that potentially could arise. Imagine a diet filled with burgers, fried chicken, pizza, chased down with ginger ale and some salt and vinegar chips. These were my guilty pleasures, and for a long time my diet was poisoning me. Every single thing I was eating, apart from the apple or the banana I took to work, was not nutritious. December last year, I was at the Seaford Spiritualist Church and was invited out to their Christmas dinner at the Seaford RSL. Little did I know that this dinner invitation that I accepted was going to change my life. I found myself sitting beside a clinical nutritionist. Immediately, our conversations started revolving around the foods that we eat and the impacts that they have on us. And I don't know about everyone else, but has anyone really thought about the impact that the food you eat has on your body?
Yeah, I heard keto diet is very helpful for your diet.
Cool.
To your health. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but everyone keeps very wrong about it.
Yeah, I've heard of the keto diet, and I do follow someone on Instagram. However, the diet that I've got is very different. What I found immediately was, after leaving that Christmas dinner, I drove home thinking, what am I doing to myself? Why am I so depressed? Why is my anxiety going nuts? And I remembered that Lauren, who is my clinical nutritionist now, said that there is a big link between gut health and mental well-being. Now, I had some other issues going on. I've suffered with psoriasis for 20 years and nothing. Topical treatments, lots of sun, going to a Chinese doctor. None of that helped to clear up the psoriasis. Along with that, many of you know that I'm a kindergarten teacher. Getting down.
Christmas.
Sorry, what was that?
You deserve to celebrate.
Yes, that's true. We do deserve to celebrate. And I think what I've learned through this experience is taking those moments and yes, enjoying yourself, but don't make that the whole journey. That was my issue that I had with the diet I was eating.
Once a year.
Well, Christmas isn't the point that I'm making. I was talking about something that was happening every day of the year. Once a year, you can splurge. But when it's every day, that has a cumulative impact on your system. So as I was saying, I was finding it really hard getting up and down off the floor. Being a kinder teacher, I like to sit on the floor with the kids or kneel beside them. But the staff always like, "Ugh, ugh," every single time I'm getting up, and so it became a joke. I'm only 49 years old. My body shouldn't be feeling this way. But I was also finding it hard to go on the walks I love doing. Going out for a long walk for an hour or so is really hard when your system is not being filled with nutritious food. But the biggest impact, and I alluded to it before, was my mental health. My whole adult life, I've struggled with anxiety. And it was only 11 years ago in 2013 that I was diagnosed with generalised anxiety disorder. So basically that means anything can trigger my anxiety. And that's where my thinking went. It was like, well, what is going on with what I'm eating and how is that impacting my Do you have something to share, Vandana? Danil?
No, I was just sort of confirming what you were saying.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So what were you confirming?
That gut health is related to.
Yeah. Which I'd heard of, but I never really understood it. But my mental health over the Christmas break really declined. And I found myself constantly thinking about the conversations with the clinical nutritionist, and I'm looking at the foods I'm eating and I'm thinking, I need to make a change. Burger, fried chicken, I need to make a change. Ginger ale, salt and vinegar chips. And then the day that we went back for the first service, I thought, no, I'm going to talk to her. I've got to do something. So after speaking to the nutritionist, I made my first appointment. A few of the things that I found straight away, which was really interesting. That's right, I lost my train. Clinical nutrition is more than just the food you're eating. They look at your whole system. In the last 6 months, I've had a hair mineral tissue analysis done, which showed the different elements in my system from the foods I was eating that were out of whack. Even showing points as in I had too much arsenic in my body.
Isn't food supposed to make you feel better? Isn't food supposed to make you improve your mental health?
Well, I guess it depends on the food you're eating. If you're eating something high in saturated fats, high in processed sugars.
But if it tastes good, it makes you feel good. Why? How does it impact mental health?
The nutrition that's in it. The base elements of those foods are so poor. The body has to really fight to turn it into something that is beneficial. And when it is a constant bombardment of the negative nutritional benefits, the saturated fats, the high sugars, even for some people, myself, I found that even though I'm not a celiac, I don't process gluten effectively. So it causes a lot of problems. So if we are eating foods that are not nutritionally beneficial, and what I found through this time is going back to your nude foods. So your fresh fruit and veggies, your meats, your good fats like olive oil, almond oil, things like that. Well, that's a reminder that we should all have our phones on silent, because you never know when someone's going to try and get in touch. Oh, do you know how to turn it off? Can you help him, Arun? Okay, so the hair tissue mineral analysis was one of the tools. The nutritionist also got me to take in my long list of blood tests that I'd had done about 3 months before from the doctors. Now, according to that, my cholesterol was good, my sugar was good, and all this sort of thing. One thing doctors do not tell you is that your body needs cholesterol to create hormones, and it needs a minimum level. Now, my high cholesterol might need to switch it off. My high cholesterol was good. And according to the doctors, my low cholesterol was good. It was low. But my overall cholesterol was below the threshold that the body needs to create hormones. So, as well as the gut health issue, I had this hormone imbalance because I didn't have a sufficient level of cholesterol in my body. So it's nice, makes sense that I had mental health issues. And then recently, only about a month or so ago, I had a DNA test, again, showing different markers in my body that either I did have or I didn't have. And that confirms, that I need to be on a gluten low diet. It showed I really shouldn't drink alcohol because my body doesn't process it, which is, one, takes a lot more for me to get drunk, but also when I do get in the system, it takes longer for it to get out. And caffeine, I need to get rid of caffeine completely out of my diet because I cannot process the caffeine effectively because I don't have those specific genes. So through making changes in my diet, what's happened? Within 3 weeks of cutting out the junk food, cutting out the processed sugar, particularly the ginger ale, because I was drinking a bottle of ginger ale every day, and going on to fresh meats, fruit, vegetables, cooking from scratch. Within 3 weeks, I was going to sleep half an hour, where it would take me an hour to an hour and a half to go to sleep, or even longer. And in the morning, when the alarm went off, I was up out of bed. For 6 months, that was my life. My psoriasis, I'd love to say that that's improved, but not really. But then again, this is a marathon I'm talking about. I'm not talking about making changes for 5 days and you'll see benefits. I'm talking about changing your lifestyle, which is what I've done. But my mental health has improved that much that I'm going through an extremely stressful situation at the moment. I'm dealing with it, I'm coping with it. But also, for the first time in 11 years, I'm in the process of taking myself off, in conjunction with the clinical nutritionist and my doctor, taking myself off antidepressants for the first time in 11 years. They've been poisoning me, and every time I've tried to come off them, I've always gone through withdrawal. But now I know the process of coming off this, and it's all because of where I've been able to get myself through changing my diet and looking at the positive things that I can do. So what I want you to do is have a look at the diet that you're eating. I'm not saying change completely from A to Z, but have a look and see what you are eating, and is there any positive changes that you can make in your diet.